Welcome to the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. Your adventure into the world of comic book movies starts here.
Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another adventure of the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. My name's Travis.
And I'm Patrick.
And we are back with more 90s, more late 90s.
Yeah. For a second, I thought it was Independence Day when it opens up with that neon green light.
Oh, yeah.
Alien Resurrection vibe thing going.
That was probably another movie that should have been on our list, Independence Day.
Is that a comic book?
No, but I mean,
oh, okay.
That's not like that's ever stopped us before.
That's true. But yeah, it gave me it's Alien Resurrection, so
yeah,
it opened up and I saw that bright light, kind of like reminded me of Independence Day.
Okay,
when the ship opens up for the first time.
Yeah, man, I need to rewatch that. I haven't seen that in years.
Oh, that's a goodie.
I'm sure that some of the effects don't hold up because I can just kind of remember some of the ships feeling fake and just like very practical on some of of that stuff.
For the most part, it holds up even in 4K.
Yeah.
Which,
okay.
They weren't thinking of it at the time.
Yeah, of course.
But all things considered, I think it still holds up pretty good.
Right on.
Especially the part where Will Smith slaps the alien. Very realistic. I wonder
if
you could do that in real life. Oh, wait. Dang it.
Oh.
Sorry, Chris Rock. You did you dirty.
Nice.
All right. So, 1997.
Yeah.
I guess it's roughly we'll call it a Thanksgiving movie since it came out in November.
Yeah, right.
November 26th, it looks like.
Get the family all together, go see an alien movie.
Well,
take grandma and
faces.
Yeah.
So I guess taglines are kind of unspectacular for this movie. It's very what you would assume it would be. Like,
I assume it's like Ellen's back, and this time she's,
No, they don't actually do that. They there's one where it's been more than 200 years. The beginning has just started. I'm like, wait, no, what? No, huh? That's a confusing tagline.
Yeah.
And then the rest are just like super generic. It's like witness the resurrection. Pray you die first. It's already too late. Beyond salvation.
Pray you die first is good.
Yeah. And was it Hell Gives Birth?
I don't hate that one.
Assumes that Ripley is hell since she gives birth.
Well,
so she's the one that started it.
Yeah, but we see a birth in this movie.
That's like a C-section, really.
No. I'm talking about later in the.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, maybe it's referencing that. Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
We'll get to that thing.
Yeah.
Woof. So, have you ever seen this movie before?
I'd seen it once. I probably in the days of Blockbuster by mail or maybe early Netflix. Like I can remember doing a marathon of alien movies. And so at some point, I think I'd watched all four of these in, a week's time or 2 weeks time or something like that. I think I saw this. It didn't make a huge impression. I really like watching through it now. I only remembered the kind of the climax with the newborn on the escape vehicle. Yeah, that's really the only thing I remembered. So this watch was more or less a brand new experience for me. So how about you?
No, I had never seen it.
Okay.
I knew of it. Like I knew there was,
of course,
another writer.
Oddly, I remember the trailer. Like I remember the trailer for this movie appearing on probably, other movies around the time. And I remember Winona Ryder, like the couple frames of Ellen walking down the hallway and the guy says, aren't you supposed to be dead? And I forget what she says. Or I used to be or something,
Yeah.
Either way. And then I remember Winona Ryder being in it.
I completely, this was a fresh watch and I forgot that Ripley came back via cloning technology or whatever.
Yeah. That's kind of one of the,
it's weird.
yeah, that's kind of where my notes begin is just, the the third movie pissed a lot of people off because it starts out with essentially undoing the ending of the previous movie.
Yeah.
Everyone loved Hicks and Newt and that whole Aliens movie, and then the third one opens with, oh, we killed them between movies. And so this one opens not necessarily the way it opens. Well, yeah, more or less.
It opens
Maybe.
pretty gross, but
Yeah. But essentially, we learn very quickly the premise of this movie is Ellen Ripley was whatever was left in Alien 3 was harvested enough DNA, and now that DNA is mixed with the Queen DNA, and so they're able to clone and do all this, science alien stuff. And part of me is like, I got the impression at the end of Alien 3 that she chose that death so that there would be nothing left of her. And I know it's, you burn yourself, they can still get DNA. Like, and I guess I thought of it more of like a Terminator 2 style death of like lowering herself into, I know it wasn't molten steel or anything, but it was a big furnace. So I viewed that movie as there was nothing left of her,
Yeah.
So I guess that it gave them an opening to bring her back, but I kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Starting the movie off on that, it's a little shaky,
Oh, I was just immediately queasy with the opening credits. Like,
yeah, just very like,
it's like there's a weird camera effect they're doing where it like stretches and pulsates. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what that is, but it was just,
yeah.
I was like, what am I watching? And then there's an eyeball, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I put it together later that it was, the experimenting going on.
Yeah.
But I didn't know like that mark on her arm was an 8. Like, I thought it was 2 squares. Like, I didn't know what that was at all.
Yeah. It's very like Magic 8 Ball 8. Like, it looks like that font of 8. It's just weird.
Yeah. But hey, props to them for getting it right after 7 failures. That's pretty impressive.
Pretty quick, really. I mean, you think about it, they from what we see later on, like in those previous 7, like those were
pretty rough.
Between 7 and 8, that's a huge leap in
that's an advance.
Yeah. So,
although it looked like 7 could at least give birth potentially.
7, looked like she probably was useful to them.
Yeah, but
well, yeah.
Starting out with baby, like I guess 6 or 7-year-old Ripley. It's like kind of quasi humanoid.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised they let her age as much as she did to give birth. Because Sigourney's probably like in her 40s by now, I'd assume.
At that point,
right?
Yeah. I mean, I imagine I'm sure it was rapid aging. It was probably it was probably weeks from when we first see the Ellen in a jar. She's probably 7, 8, maybe 6, something like that. And then I bet it's a couple weeks until she's matured into the 40-some-year-old version that I'm guessing, because they can't wait 40 years.
I had no idea on at the point.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, from a biological standpoint, you'd want to stop her at like in her 20s or something.
Sure.
Or whatever your prime age is. Like,
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Physical strength and obviously birthing or whatever.
If they're going to these extremes, they would have been making use of her biological functions much earlier. Yeah.
Because they're also kind of, it was almost like she was disposable at the beginning, and then they're like, can you please save her?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So maybe that's part of it too.
Starting off, like, just going through the credits, I noticed a couple names stuck out to me. I'm not going to deep dive into any of them, but costume designer Bob Ringwood, and that's a name I know. He designed the bat suit for '89 Batman.
Oh, okay.
And then a bunch of other stuff. I mean, but I thought it was weird, like, going through this movie, like, the costumes just felt like generic. Like, it was an odd, I don't know, like, eventually Ellen Ripley is in like a costume. I'm like, wouldn't they just have put her in, scrub type, lab, just basic like clothes? I don't
She's
know,
like a
but
road warrior.
yeah,
Yeah.
she looks
That's weird.
cool, but it's like,
Yeah.
really, why would this be available to her? But whatever. Visual effects by a person called singular name Pitof, Pitof, and the only reason I know that name is that is the person that eventually will direct Catwoman. So
Oh,
yeah,
and he had a rough go with this, I bet.
yeah.
I don't envy any physical special effects person in this era because right now a lot of your work isn't looking so hot.
Hmm. I gotta
We'll
say, I
get
mean,
into
I
it.
think effects wise, I think this movie holds up.
Yeah,
But we can get
I
into
was
it.
hit
But
or miss with it. Yeah,
yeah,
but we'll
no,
get into it.
it's not 100% by any
Yeah,
means. But one name I did not expect to see was written by Joss Whedon.
yeah, I did see that too.
Yeah, I kind of looked into the how this movie came to be because I know with franchises like this, it's always a little like, do we want to make another one? Does Sigourney Weaver want to come back for another one? Blah blah blah. And it sounded like they had already had the idea of like an Alien versus Predator that had been floating around for a couple years, and apparently Sigourney Weaver had no interest in doing anything of that sort. So she had removed herself from this franchise. So then they brought in Joss Whedon because they were, I guess, says they were impressed with him as a screenwriter. I looked before this what he would have done, and it makes sense. He would have done Roseanne, some episodes of Roseanne a couple years ago, or like 89, 90. Then of course he wrote the movie for Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and then a
Yeah.
screenplay for Toy Story right before
Okay.
this. So yeah, I think that makes sense enough.
Yeah.
And he probably wrote a bunch of other stuff that maybe didn't get made, but
Because the Buffy series starts around this time, doesn't it?
I think later that
Does it?
starts
Okay.
97. Okay, 97.
But
Yeah.
they wouldn't have known that yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But so they brought him in, and I guess it says that he wrote his initial screenplay had a third act on Earth with a final battle for Earth itself, which it makes sense. The way the movie goes, that
Yeah.
ending makes sense. And then he wrote 5 versions of the final act, none of which ended up in the film. And then I think his version kind of centered around bringing a clone of Newt back. And so he worked, I think he says he wrote like 30 pages of that script. And then they got Sigourney Weaver back, or got her interested. She read the script and liked what she read. So she's back in. So now he's got to rewrite, what he wrote and come up with a way that Ripley is around. So, I mean, the concept of cloning obviously stuck around.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I thought that was Newt at the beginning.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
When I was a kid, I wasn't thinking that was going to be Sigourney.
Yeah. Huh.
That's just immediately where I went to.
Sure. So yeah, that's kind of how the movie came to be, I guess. But some names that they had, or some directors that they tried to get were Danny Boyle, apparently, Peter Jackson. He wasn't
Yeah, I
interested.
could see that.
Bryan Singer,
Yeah.
but opens pretty unspectacularly, I thought. Just the standard like ship kind of floating through space on its way somewhere.
Yeah.
And this one I didn't think was good. It just, the ship was so shadowed, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. This one just didn't work for me, so no big deal.
Yeah, I find it crazy that 200 years has gone by and the ships got worse.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's they had some tough times, I guess.
I thought about that too with I mean, jumping ahead to there's another robot in this movie, like most alien movies are. There's a robot, and it doesn't seem like they're any more advanced, 200 years, although they do say like at one point they she's one that escaped. It's almost like a Blade
They're
Runner
like
kind of situation.
discontinued. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it's not like they've been making robots for 200 years and she's the latest and greatest. It's just,
Well, now she just had less milk,
yeah,
so you don't need as much to run
yeah,
those anymore. And they have the mole access port,
yeah, that was cool.
which kind of grossed me out. The white dangly thing to the
Yeah, oh
mole.
yeah, yeah,
I was like, what? Not the surgery to pull the alien out, but the mole getting pulled out. That's what
yeah,
got me.
yeah. Like right away when we get on the ship, like it did instantly feel like an alien movie. I think thought the music
Yeah.
was very alien. The set designs felt alien. Just a lot of gray and black and steam, and just overall, like I was instantly back in Alien. So that was
Yeah.
kind of cool.
I was excited to see somebody in here that I wasn't expecting.
Who's that?
Michael Wincott from Crow.
Sure, love Michael
Ultimate
Wincott.
and creepiness.
Yeah.
It's always makes me feel unsettled, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Absolutely. I've been talking about him over on Minute of Thieves because obviously he's Guy of Gisborne
Oh,
over there. So yeah, he was a welcome, presence for me. I really liked him in this.
yeah,
Before that, when the movie kind of you go from like whatever you want to call her, child Newt in the or
yeah.
Newt,
Cal Ripley. Yeah,
Ripley in the glass, and then obviously she grows up, and then we just instantly she's in surgery and they're cutting open her chest, and yeah, they harvest this alien, like a chest burster that they get out of her. And I don't know, do we know then that this is a queen? Couldn't remember if they said specifically like, oh, we have a queen, or
no, I don't think they specifically said. I think I just assumed it
okay,
because they were
it would make
excited about
sense.
it,
Yeah,
and I don't know. I just assumed they were after the alien as a
yeah,
weapon again.
I guess so. This is the part that confused me most of the movie, because I think if I tried, I could have remembered that she did have an alien queen in her at the end of
Mhm.
3, but then I didn't understand how, with bringing her back, how does that also
Oh
get
yeah,
them aliens,
not a
but
clue.
so I did have to kind of look up, in the alien wiki, like it makes enough sense. It says the United Systems military used Ripley's DNA that was preserved by Wayland Yutani, the corporation in the previous movies, attempted to clone Ripley in order to obtain the Queen chestburster. However, obviously, we know that most of the experiments were no good. But yeah, so they had the DNA, and because it's mixed with the Queen DNA, they're able to have both. So are
Sure.
there like it doesn't well, I'm wondering, were there Queen, rejects, in the
Well,
other, like,
it looked like they almost combined like the
yeah.
Queen and Ripley in some of
Oh
those they
yeah, yeah,
brought.
the
So
previous, yeah.
yeah. So that
So
may have been a mix up of the different
yeah.
DNA
So
is how I took it. But
right.
yeah.
But so for me, like until I like found that out afterwards, a lot of the movie was a little weird for me. It's like I didn't understand that the queen we see later is this queen that they
Yeah.
harvest from her chest. I thought maybe this was just an alien. And then when we see the queen later, it's like, is that where they get all the I don't know. I didn't know
Yeah.
who preceded who, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I just assumed that she created the
Yeah.
queen, but it
Yeah.
grew really fast.
That's where I'm at too. Yeah, I forget these things grow at the speed of plot. You know,
Yeah.
like it's
But I was
it's as
also confused at the end when they said
mhm.
that she couldn't give birth as the queen until she had Ripley's uh, like
Yeah,
birth giving ability or
right,
something,
until
whatever they
she grew a womb or something like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
so I don't know. Yeah, I
yeah,
just kind of rolled with
yeah,
it. I was like, okay, it's gonna be a crazy science fiction movie.
yeah.
I'm not gonna try to think too hard.
And for the most part, that's kind of where I was too. If I didn't think
Yeah.
too much about it during the movie, I found it was totally fun to just get wrapped up in. Okay, there's a bunch of scientists. They're doing weird stuff with they're obviously, they harvest this thing out of Ellen. they didn't plan to keep her around, but then the one scientist played by Brad Dourif, who is, the voice of Chucky from all the I always mix up the title. Child's Play. Not Problem Child.
Well, for a second I thought you meant Chucky from Rugrats.
Oh, sure. So. But no, Brad Dourif is voice of Chucky, and then he was the doctor on Deadwood and Grima Wormtongue in the Lord of the Rings movies and a lot of other stuff. But I liked him too. Yeah. So he's doing like kind of mad scientist type stuff. He's got this chambers full of the aliens that they have harvested and have let mature, and like I guess they've got maybe, I guess they say they have 12, so they must have a couple chambers and they've got 2 or 3 in each. I thought they just had one. It was hard to tell, like, am I seeing one? Am I seeing 2?
Timeline's a lot of whack.
Yeah. And then he's like training them.
They have a bunch of eggs for the captives later.
Yeah, they got tons of eggs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting that they show that like the aliens that are in these chambers, like they are learning. Like when they do something that he doesn't like, he can hit them with, I guess it's
liquid nitrogen or something.
Yeah, seems to be.
At least that's what it looked like when it hit the dude.
yeah. And then he's about to hit the button again because one of them does something and the alien stops. Like, that was pretty cool. And as you watch the movie, you realize, these aliens are kind of smart. They're basically like raptors from Jurassic Park. That's really the vibe that I got from these. So,
well, both of them and Ripley do that same like head tilt movement.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was one of the reasons they got Ripley Sigourney Weaver back, is because once she realized she could play Ripley completely differently, like that was appealing to her. And I totally get it, because watching her was fun through this movie because she was different.
I will say I kept waiting for a tiny mouth to come out of hers after I saw that she had acid blood.
Oh, that'd be good.
I was like, oh, is she gonna have a tiny mouth? Is she gonna have a tiny mouth?
That's kept funny.
Waiting. No such luck.
Yeah.
If it was done by Sci-Fi, maybe. The general Dan Hedaya.
Yeah.
Ugh. I can only see him as the dad in Clueless now.
Okay.
And he just doesn't seem like he'd be a general.
Mm.
Like he doesn't intimidate. Like he's not.
Yeah.
He seems like he's always gonna be that dad to me.
Okay.
Like a absentee lawyer father.
Mm-hmm. So. I don't care for Dan Hedaya very much. Like he's okay in some roles. I think he always feels like we couldn't get Harvey Keitel, so we got Dan Hedaya instead. So, I don't know. I like nothing against him. He's fine in some, in stuff, but like, overall, I don't really care for him. But
was another doctor. He was kind of like the boss, Dr. Wren. I want to say it was.
Yeah.
Holy crap, was that guy awesome at his job, being a total asshole. Like,
yeah.
My favorite part was when he's talking with Ripley and they're talking about how she's like, you're gonna fail, basically. You're all gonna die.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we're gonna train him and blah blah blah. And
yeah.
she's like, oh, sit, roll over, play dead. And she's like, it's not gonna work. And he's like, well, worked for you. Or whatever he said.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, drop the mic, bro. That was pretty good. Because she's got like this smug smile like half the beginning of the movie. Like she's just like, she knows, I think she knows a lot because of what they said, genetic memories passed down or something like that.
Yeah, that was a little.
And she senses aliens.
I dig that.
She's the mother of, I guess.
Yeah, they've got a connection, because I think we've seen enough of how the aliens behave around a queen that we can figure out that they do have kind of almost that like ant-like, hive mind, slight telepathy kind of, they can communicate and they can sense each other. And so I dig that she can, she has a sense for them and a connection.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, and then we meet this like pirate crew, basically. It's what they feel like,
Yeah, I
it's
think they even
your
say she's playing pirate or something.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like you mentioned, Michael Wincott. He's the leader, playing Elgin, and then you
yeah.
got Gary Dordan, who the only thing I think I've ever seen him in is
Yep.
CSI,
Yeah.
the original CSI crew.
Yeah.
But he's great in this, like, and he's got a
Oh
great
yeah, my
look,
favorite.
you know.
Yeah.
Of course, Ron Perlman.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
had
think
no idea.
I think when I think of Alien, of this movie and Ron Perlman, I think he's always in Alien 3 because he has the same look
Uh,
as any of the prisoners, just the,
yeah.
you know, shaved head and all that. But um and then a couple more, there's one dude who's like in a, not a wheelchair, but it's essentially a mobile chair because apparently his legs don't really function.
Oh yeah, they don't
um
feel anything because he
yeah,
drops the knife on him.
yeah.
Ron Perlman's character, Joner or John or whatever the hell his
Johnner,
name is,
yeah, yeah.
and
And then
then
Hillard, I think, is their pilot
oh yeah,
slash,
Kim Flowers. Yeah,
I don't know her from anything, but her and Elgin have a relationship, it seems. um
yeah, randomly.
Yeah, I mean, why not? So we learn pretty quickly, more or less, that these guys are bringing. Oh, I didn't mention, but that
Yeah, I was gonna say
Winona
Winona.
Ryder, yeah, is part of their crew, and we'll discover things about her. But obviously, we've let that cat out of the bag, I think, more or less.
Yeah,
Um,
that's not a spoiler alert.
yeah, but we learn, I think, pretty quickly that these guys are showing up and they're bringing, like, you know several, like, almost like caskets, just several bodies for them.
And what are they,
And
hypersleep people or something they
yeah,
stole?
essentially, because I mean, the first Alien movie, we meet that crew when they're traveling through space over a
Yeah.
long period of time. They're all in hypersleep. So this totally makes sense. This is some crew that this, pirate ship has come upon in space. I imagine they hijack it, steal all the bodies, all the, you know crew that are in suspended animation, and then they bring them here to this big military, like, massive, ship, the Auriga, I think that's what it's called. But
Yeah, I just remember the Betty's their ship.
yeah,
That's all I
yeah.
can remember.
But yeah, they're selling bodies that they can use for their alien experiments. So pretty
Yeah.
dirty work, but I mean,
Someone's got to do it.
someone's got to make those alien hosts. Yeah.
It seems like they got a history with the
Oh yeah.
general, at
Yeah.
least. So they're,
Oh yeah.
they're up to shenanigans.
And so the way I saw this going was going to be, the pirate crew shows up, they get into an argument, and they, either don't get paid what they're owed, so they decide to, mess around, and it leads to aliens getting loose. I did not expect it to go, the other way. Like, once they, so how does it play out? They once they
Well,
meet
when,
Ripley
yeah.
just by happenstance, basically. They
Yeah, she's
more or
just playing
less,
b-ball. Yeah.
yeah, just as you do. um Having one of those, I, I'm glad they had the restraint not to turn it into a basketball game between her and Ron Perlman, because
Yeah.
that would just feel like, you know Catwoman or Daredevil. They have pretty infamous, like, playground, one-on-one scenes like that. So I'm glad they had the restraint there, and instead it was just like this weird, in your face, moment between her and Ron Perlman, and that turns, like, antagonistic real quick.
Oh, yeah. His character's kind of an asshole
Oh
from
yeah, he's
the
the
jump.
worst.
So,
Yeah, but
and she's part alien. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I thought about him, like, he I don't care for Ron Perlman's asshole character, because he plays the exact same character
Hmm.
in Blade 2.
Yeah.
It's almost identical. It's different enough from other movies where he is a jerk. Like, even in Sons of Anarchy, he's not playing this type of creep. This guy's just a real sleazeball. Um, And obviously it's completely different from like a Hellboy or, you know, a lot of his other roles. But yeah, I don't care for this Ron Perlman.
Yeah, I forgot about him so many times while
Yeah.
watching the movie. So
Yeah.
he's kind of a one note kind of character.
Yeah, yeah. Just general scumbag, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Speaking of Ron Perlman, I did put out some feelers. A friend of the show, Dave Pallas, said that the wrist guns on Christie is Gary Jordan's name. He shows up, he's got these like wrist mounted wrist mounted guns that Dave says are baller. And he says Ron Perlman was too cool. So he said like I haven't seen it in so long, so I can't remember much else. So Dave Pallas from 5 Minutes of Mystery. So
well, he does
thanks,
make
Dave.
good whiskey or whatever that is, and
The
his gun is
dehydrated
kind
or
of
like
or no, that's the general.
oh
He's got the dehydrated laser whiskey or whatever.
yeah, you're talking about Ron Perlman's like thermos that he carries
Yeah,
around. Yeah,
he
yeah.
says it's like more dangerous than any weapon or whatever. And I think the thermos also doubles as a shotgun.
It does.
So that was pretty cool, but that was more the equipment than him. So
I really like that in the scuffle. So the basketball, the intimidation thing with her and Ron Perlman turns physical. She ends up kind of having a fight with him and Christy.
yeah,
And Christy grabs like a barbell, you know, a weight set and kind of smashes her in the face, and which causes her to get a bloody nose. And then we learn that her blood is acid blood, like the aliens, but not like as it doesn't like eat through the floor instantly. It's still, you know, it's like a watered down version of acid blood, which is just
she's a hybrid.
yeah, it's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, so I was like, all right. Like I didn't realize she got some of the predator, or predator, alien.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Stuff.
I do that too.
She's like Blade.
So all this fighting between them that leads to I'm trying to remember how that leads to I think Ren shows up and just throws all of them in a room together, and we find out that what's her call tries to kill Ripley. Like she gets into her chambers and is gonna kill her. I'm trying to remember now how that plays out.
Yeah, she realizes that she's got that scar and that they took the queen out already.
Yeah.
So she's, I guess, not gonna kill her now. But then they start talking about how it's too late and blah blah blah. Because I think at that point the people in cryo already got egged.
That's right. Yeah, I did love that they've got all these hosts and they just put them in a little chamber with an egg and a face hugger. Yeah, oh, so good. I love the face hugger concept. I always have. I love it. So any chance to see it, I think is great. And then it all kind of just everything, it's like this perfect storm, I guess, because now you've got it kind of jumps around a little bit back and forth between Brad Dourif's scientist character. I don't know anyone's name in this movie. The evil scientist, you know, is continuing his but he has like a weird flirtation with this alien that's in this cage. It's like he's very like
he's
just infatuated. It's a perverse infatuation, and that leads to the one this is when I learned that there were multiple aliens in these chambers, because again it was impossible to tell, but yeah, these two aliens are essentially talking to each other, and they gang up on a third alien, and just they tear it to shreds, and enough to get the acid, make it bleed. Essentially they're smart enough to know that they can bleed and get through anything.
Well, it was like that one that got killed gave them the go ahead to do it. Like it nodded at them. It looked like.
Oh, I didn't read it like that.
Once they saw that the button was locked, because that one made some kind of movement towards the other two, and then the other two took action. Like it was almost like that one was planning it to be the sacrificial
interesting
alien. Because I think that one was the original one he was messing with.
Okay.
Because the other two looked a little different. At least that's
Hey
how
man,
I read it.
All Xenomorphs look the same to me.
Oh wow.
I know.
Oh no, they clearly have different tiny mouths.
Yeah.
One had braces.
Yeah. But I mean, it's an awesome sequence because they, obviously, they kill one of them. That causes them to have a giant hole in their floor so they can escape. That leads.
It goes through multiple floors.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of blood.
So then this time you've also got.
Because I think they're all distracted by the fight going on with the crew being I guess captured.
Yeah, so the crew
are back.
Because Ren is like basically double crossing, and
they call a terrorist.
That's right. That's right. They kind of capture her.
Caught her. Yeah.
I'm thinking at some point they figure out all these bodies that we've been bringing to you. You're experimenting on, and so that's why Ren wants. I think that he's about to kill all of them just so none of this gets out. So it's just
that's where
basically
we see the two guns that he can't put down.
Yeah.
Does the weird like ricochet shot thing.
Yeah, I guess he's like a trick shot expert.
Yeah, he does it again later, but when they're in the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I saw the cages they had, it made me think of for holding the aliens. It made me think of Cabin in the Woods, where they have all those like monsters captured into little compartments that they move around depending on when they need them. So it made me think of that scene in Cabin in the Woods.
Also written by Joss Whedon.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Just ripping off his own shit. Yeah.
Yeah. What a hack.
Yeah. And that's the worst thing about him.
Yes, nothing else.
So that's when Brad Dourif's scientist character goes into this xenomorph chamber to, I guess, see where they've gone, like see what see what he can see, and instantly gets pulled in to the hole, and no surprise. Like initially, I thought, oh, that's a quick death for him. That's unfortunate. Totally forgetting that we'll see him later, but
his cocoon version.
That
is really excited.
He's all about this, but
well, everyone's got their thing.
Yeah. I thought it was strange that once like the alarms are sounded and aliens are getting loose, and I don't know if they just instinctively come for Ripley, but they're like trying to get into her, chamber. And I thought it was, I couldn't tell, like, why is she so intent on escaping? Because I just thought these things will leave her alone. And I thought she would sense that. Like, I was confused why she felt in danger, because
I mean, she is half and half. So I guess there's uncertainty, and maybe she was worried they'd want her to be the queen or something. And I don't know. Yeah, I think
just based on how she's more or less like been behaving with the whole like, oh, they're gonna get out, they're gonna kill you. Like it almost seemed like she was into it earlier, into being one of these like, not quite human. She's so just that like fight or flight kind of instinct kicks in with her, which surprised me a little bit. But yeah, I think she uses her acid blood to melt some wires to open her door, and she gets out. And does she run into Call, or
she escapes, and then she has an awesome entrance with shooting through the
man, that's when we see her next. Okay. So at this point, you've got Dan Hedaya is getting his soldiers, his crew, everyone off this vessel. They get into like escape pods. A lot of them get out.
Very Spaceballs, by the way.
Was it?
Very Spaceballs. When they're evacuating the Mega Maid.
Okay.
That made me think of that.
Just escape pods? Is it,
just escape pods in general.
Gotcha.
Spaceballs reference needed.
Sorry. All right. Well, of course. Yeah.
Carry on.
where would we be without a Spaceballs?
That's what the people come here for.
Yeah. I like that the last of these, escape pods gets he throws it gets an alien in it.
Yeah.
So it's like full of people. It's probably like 6 or 7 people inside of it, and then a alien just crawls inside, and it's just blood everywhere. So yeah, he throws a grenade in to destroy it. And is this like he just gets an alien right behind him and just gets his brain? Like it just uses the interior mouth to get his brain.
Yep.
It's all good action. It's really good, solid action. This whole escape, franticness. It's all I thought was done really well. At this point, they're using like physical puppets for the aliens when it's just like close-ups on the heads and everything, and that's always been great. And then I thought anytime they show the legs are all CGI. If it's walking around, they use CGI, and I think it holds up. For the most part. Sometimes they're a little gray, and you can tell it when, and this happens from in movies using CGI from this point until like the mid 2000s. If it's meant to be black and it's a CGI thing, then it's gray. Like even go forward to Spider-Man 3. Anytime he's flipping around and he's a fully CGI creation, he's a gray Spider-Man. Just they couldn't render black for some reason. So yeah, you can kind of tell sometimes when the aliens are fully, CGI or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I mean overall it's I think it's all pretty good. And then you got the pirates they're trying to get to their ship, and I think they run into Ren at this point. He kind of becomes almost like their captive, just I feel like he's mixed up with because he was in that chamber with them when they were about to execute all
because they capture him
and one other soldier kind of with them. And then there's some good like interior hallway creepiness. It's again very alien, very like where Elgin is investigating something. I think he finds I thought it was what is it?
Felt like a rifle.
He found a gun. I didn't know if that was meant to be what is his name? The guy with the wheelchair. Oh, Vries.
Oh,
the guy in the wheelchair. I thought it was maybe his gun.
No, his is more steampunk.
Okay,
like, it's like built out of his wheelchair.
Yeah,
while he's putting it together.
Okay,
I did like that part though.
Yeah.
The acid dropping on his leg and him not noticing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah. So Elgin's snooping around way too long, and
you don't split up, bro.
No, don't split the party. No.
Yeah, I was surprised by this.
Okay. Yeah, so he gets like dragged under almost. There's an alien underneath him, and feels like it's pretty quick. Does he die while his people are like there, or does he die?
I think he's already dead when they
find him. That's right. Yeah. So they're kind of like, obviously they're upset. Their captain just, got killed. And then another alien shows up and starts sniffing around Elgin's body. And this gun just comes through the body of Elgin and just blasts the alien to hell. And that's when, Ripley is back.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you have a reintroduction of characters right there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Meanwhile, their pilot's distraught because
that was
her guy.
Yeah.
I honestly thought she was gonna go next, like right away.
And she lasts a little bit longer, but it's basically all the survivors are now one, group, and the ship is automatically, because there's a distress, thing, like it's heading back to Earth. Like that's just a standard, standard operating procedure. It just, it's on a collision course now for Earth. 3 hours, I think, is how long it's going to take them. So
when they said that, I was like, oh, please don't be in real time.
That ship must move super fast because they say 3 hours. And then later on, in like an establishing shot of just the ship moving through space, they pass Jupiter. And so somehow Jupiter is within 3 hours of Earth, So good to know that. I mean, this thing must be just traveling at some insane speed, but it doesn't look like it is, But
I think shortly after this we get to see the experiment chamber.
That's what I think so. Yeah.
They keep all of these for some reason.
That they what?
They keep all of these on display. Like,
I get that.
I can see that doctor doing that.
A science lab wouldn't destroy all of its, because they might be able to dissect one of these and figure something out, or, but yeah, Ripley, something about I think the door says 1 through 7, which seems a bit odd. Like, why would you name this lab 1 through 7? So she looks at her arm and she sees the 8 and realizes, oh, this is where they kept 1 through 7. She goes in, and it's just like vat after vat of various stages of Ripley clone. Some of them are just super grotesque and clearly have the alien DNA, mixed with her human DNA, and it's some of them are just really gruesome.
Yeah, the living one was very upsetting.
Very upsetting. I had forgotten about this whole this cloning chamber. So this was a holy shit moment for me.
I was like, oh my God.
And they find this one, I guess it's number 7, Ripley 7, and she's still alive. And as soon as she sees Ripley 8, she's like, kill me. So
understandably.
Was there I think they even show that Ripley 7 has a scar on her chest, right? Like, did she also? So
that's what I wasn't sure. Maybe it didn't actually live, or
right.
Like, we just don't know.
Yeah.
Technically, she could have been the queen, but I don't think so.
Yeah. So I thought Ripley puts her out of her misery with a flamethrower, which I thought was really bizarre.
I know.
I mean, I get it for destroying the lab, but to put down, this monster, I thought was, why not one bullet,
Yeah.
So
I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, you're gonna burn her to death.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
And I forget what chamber they're in. Oh, they make their way, I guess, to the whatever chamber has the other hosts, all the bodies that the Betty crew had brought, and we find there's one survivor. The rest of them had all been killed, and I think had all chest bursted already.
Which I don't quite get, like, why they
timing
all
wise,
did, but he didn't.
Yeah, maybe
he still got a few hours left.
Maybe that egg didn't open until much later, So
because he was
he's with them for a while.
Because he's with the crew. Yeah, he's with the crew that got shown in that one scene.
Yes.
And he should have been strapped in, but I don't know.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, I didn't know why he was on the floor away from everybody.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I maybe want. Well, they probably don't expect any of these people to wake up, so they probably didn't secure them extra tight. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't worried about anyone waking up and escaping.
Yeah, that's weird because there's even one that's still in like a casket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Got a whole yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
But I did not understand why they took him with.
Yeah. And this guy is Leland Orser. He's a great character actor. You've seen him in
I've seen him
hundreds of things. He's I think most notably, and right around this time, he's in Seven, the Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman. He's the guy who it might be Lust, where
the one with the razored marital aid.
Yes.
I'll say.
That's this guy.
Yeah.
But also
I looked him up because I was trying to figure out who he was.
Yeah. Dozens and dozens of other movies. We'll see him again in Daredevil. He'll be Kingpin's like right-hand man.
Gotcha. I like his name's Purvis in this movie.
Okay.
Made me laugh.
Nice.
Because I don't think that anyone calls him that, but they
Yeah.
still, nobody's like, Purvis, get over here.
He's one of those actors that has this amazing scared rage is the best way I could like put it. Like because he shows it off here
Oh
when
yeah, he's like
he
manic.
doesn't understand what is going on. And it's the same type of performance that I'm thinking of from Seven, where he's
Yeah.
like, I had to do this, that he is horribly distraught about what he has been forced to do. So just a very good performance by this guy.
Yeah, he should have been in the Saw movies.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
He'd fit in there.
sure. And then, like, pretty quick after that, we go underwater. They realize
Yeah.
what is it? Oh, they make their way to like a cooling tower
Yeah.
that, I mean, it has
That's why there's
water.
water.
Yeah, there's like a chamber that's full of water. It's meant to, yeah, cool the, I don't know, the reactors or
Reactor.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So yeah, it's got all this water. Somehow that water has made its way into the kitchen level
Yeah.
and yeah, flooded the kitchen, but they have to go from one place to the other to get to the other side or whatever. So the kitchens are flooded, but they got to swim through them. Yeah, and so here we get to see swimming aliens, which I can't remember if
Yeah.
we've seen before.
I don't like you.
No, I
No.
remember I actually kind of unlocked a memory that around the time that this was coming out, I think Sci-Fi Channel used to run this show. It was just a making of show. I think the show was called Movie Magic. And so it would show like behind the scenes of like how they did it and that kind of stuff. And one of the the episode about Alien Resurrection was like this was a like a showcase. Like they were so proud of we can do through CGI, we can do swimming aliens. And it totally holds up. I love this sequence. The one where Ron Perlman takes out this massive gun, and fires one, and it's just like this slow-mo shot, and one alien swims out of the way, but then it hits the second alien, and it just like this depth charge, this alien just explodes into nothingness. It was really great.
I think I've been ruined by Marvel.
How so?
So much CG.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't mean anything to me anymore.
Okay.
Like I know it's not there kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas practical effects, I know there's at least something physically there.
Yeah.
I think that's been tripping me up the past few years. So
that's fair. Yeah.
When I see something that I know is completely CG, even if it doesn't look completely awful, I still don't feel like I don't feel they're in danger.
Okay.
It happened like a few years ago where I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't help when from like Avengers on, it's just the heroes fight big gray armies, big gray CGI armies, of identical, figures. It's like, come on,
Yeah. It doesn't happen all the time, but
yeah,
stuff like this, I'm just like,
yeah.
Especially if there is like practical stuff like for most of it. And then I'm seeing the CG version, I'm like, yeah, I could tell that's not really there.
Yeah. I think it had to have been on a recent Star Wars Minute. They were talking about CGI aliens versus practical effect aliens.
Yeah.
And one was like, kind of the same thing you're saying. Like the CGI, just when there are no real limits, like none of it feels real. But like when you think about Jabba the Hutt from Return of the Jedi, like you never think, oh, that's a puppet. Like that character comes across as I'm seeing this character, in this movie, not I'm seeing a big bag with 3 people inside of it, So
I think it's also an appreciation thing.
Sure.
Where I'm like, they created something tangible
right
to play this character rather than click clacking on a keyboard. I mean, they're still creating something.
Sure. Yeah, there's artistry there.
Just in a non-tangible way that is, I think that, and that's probably just my boomer kind of mentality around movies and the fact that we've gone back and watched stuff with practical effects.
Yeah.
Like if you like a perfect example is The Thing.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Versus the remake thing.
Still haven't seen it, but yeah.
I accidentally saw it. It was just
I
odd.
read that they initially set out to do all practical effects, and then I'd never heard like and those effects look good, but then at some point someone decided, no, let's go over the top of all of it and just do all CGI. So like they did practical effects and then they covered it all with CGI, but I don't know which one was better or worse. So
yeah, I mean, I dug some of the underwater stuff in this, like what's his face, dude from CSI, was carrying that guy on his back and like crawling with the vent, like the grating on the floor, to get through. I thought that was pretty well done.
Yeah, I thought the whole sequence of everyone trying to make it through, I thought was done pretty well. I guess I read that Sigourney Weaver wasn't available to do that, or like, so anytime you see her, it's like either a close up that she did, or it's like a double of her swimming. However, Winona Ryder was terrified to get into water. I forget what someone when she was very young drowned, someone close to her. Maybe she almost drowned when she was 12 and hadn't really gone in the water since. And so to do this, they were like, well, the character has to get in the water a couple times, I'm sure they weren't mean about it, but she did it, so hopefully that helped, in some way, like therapy almost, but exposure therapy.
I like the membrane that's blocking their way.
Yeah, that was interesting. They get through the water and then they're about to get out, and instantly you can tell you guys are swimming into an egg chamber. And there's this thick, clear but thick membrane covering where they need to swim out. And
Ripley gets it right in the face.
Ripley gets through it.
So I guess the babies don't know that she's a mama.
Yeah.
I was surprised they went after her. Like I thought.
I was too. That goes like yeah. Ripley gets a face hugger and she's fighting it off for a while. Everyone else kind of uses that time to scramble out, and so now they're in another they're in a shaft, like almost like an elevator shaft, but there's a ladder. So a lot of them are dealing with ladders. They're also just dealing with being in an egg chamber. Can't remember. Do they?
Well, I know.
I think that while they're in the water, do they then destroy all the eggs?
Yeah, he shoots his like grenade launcher.
That's
and
right.
Shots it.
This is his second like ricochet trick shot. Yeah.
And then luckily the eggs are all made of black powder.
Yeah.
And they just subsequently explode each other.
Right. Yeah.
Even though they're obviously liquid goo. Just saying, you think they'd make them less flammable.
Yeah.
They wanted the alien to survive. That's just poor natural design.
That's right. Yeah.
I was kind of surprised there wasn't acid everywhere, but maybe that's only the grown
aliens. Think, I'm trying to remember any examples of face huggers with acid blood, and I can't think of any.
I thought they cut one in the first one.
Maybe
off the guy's face or something.
Did they cut it off? Maybe they did. Maybe in the second one they get a face hugger. Maybe, I don't. Either way,
they can't cut it off because it's like attached into him. That's right.
Definitely in the first one, they know that they can't remove it because it has like a thing going down his esophagus and all of that. So they're in this shaft and basically they're forced to climb up the shaft. Meanwhile, they've got one alien kind of pursuing them. This is when Hillard, the pilot, she just gets dragged back down into the water, and then she's gone.
That's it.
Does she not show up in the?
I think she's like unconscious in an egg sac or whatever.
Okay, so I couldn't remember if she showed up later in the
there's a woman down there next to him, but she's not moving or anything.
That could be the scientist's like partner. The lady that
she had long hair, so
okay.
That lady kind of looked like she had down there.
I couldn't tell, like a lot of the cocooned people at the end, I couldn't really tell other than Brad Dourif. So they're dealing with this chamber, or this shaft, and some of them make it up. And at this point, Call and Ren, So Winona Ryder and the main bad guy make it to the top of the chamber, and they can't get the door open, so he says, "Give me the gun." I think he's gonna blast open the door, and he's instantly turns on him, like, you dumbass,
It's like, you're too trusting.
He just flat out opens the door, and then I think he just instantly shoots her, right?
Yeah, and then she falls in like she's dead.
Yeah, she falls into the water. So you got like Ripley and Ron Perlman, and then Christy is still carrying the guy on his back, and then the alien shows back up.
Yep, climbing up the ladder.
It grabs a hold of the guy in the Vries grabs a hold of him. So Christy like tries to shake him off, and eventually they kind of reverse positions essentially, and Christy gets a face full of acid.
He got sprayed. Yeah,
right. Yeah, so he's got a face full of acid. He's blinded, and this I thought was a little strange that he more or less gives up at this point. He does save Vries, by like letting himself, he cuts himself loose from this harness that is connecting the two of them. He also does have an alien that's like holding onto his foot, but it's like, I feel like if you tried a little harder, you could shake this alien off of your foot, but I don't know.
He's even got a knife.
Yeah. So he goes down. He's in the water.
Yep. Yeah, I was kind of bummed out. He was like my favorite.
Yeah.
At that point, Ripley was kind of being weird. I wasn't really paying much attention to her in this whole sequence, really, because she was face hugging most of the time.
Right.
Call comes back and opens the door somehow.
That's
from the other
right.
side.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Call,
I didn't quite get that.
Call gets a kind of a heroic moment. She's up there to let them all in the door that they were fighting with earlier. So we've learned that the crew learns that Call is an android or a robot. And we get like this weird moment so that they all get a breather. Basically, they're in somewhere where they can sit for a minute and regroup. They realize that Call can connect with the ship, and they want her to connect to it, and I'm not sure what they want her to do. But I know once she does connect to the ship,
I think Ripley just wanted her to crash it.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, you're right. Maybe turn off some safeguards and make sure that it doesn't land on Earth. It just crashes on Earth. Yeah. But Call gets on the intercom, and
that was my favorite part.
She sends, I guess the aliens are smart enough to understand, what people are saying, because Call says Ren is heading towards, escape level 1, or I guess he's going to their ship. So she announces that and
locks the door on them and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I guess the aliens are smart enough. I never would have thought, and maybe that's because they're kind of hybrids. They've got some human intellect in them, I guess. There's a kind of quiet, nice moment with Ripley and Call and just them, they're both freaks, I guess, and they kind of see that in each other. Kind
like
of
lab
cool
creations
moment.
or whatever.
But we learned that she's a robot, and they were talking about her when they were all together, and we find out that she was one of, forget how many they said, but they basically freed themselves and
unplugged from the modem.
They disabled their modems so that they weren't like connected anymore or something. So
like they were the Borg.
I think at this point what I'm trying to think what leads them. Ripley gets separated. She ends up, they're all traveling together. She falls down a chamber, a pit kind of thing. I forget how that happens.
I think an alien like pulls a grate. She falls through it and gets hugged into a pile of alien. I don't know how to explain it. Visually, that part was cool. The crew at this point,
they can't sacrifice any more time to try to get to her. Like they don't have time to follow her, so she's essentially on her own at this point, and they head to the ship. And so
shows up again.
What's that?
Dr. Wren shows up again and spoils the party.
So then Ren and Di Stefano, I think is his name.
Stefano,
yeah, something like that. And this is I think his name is Raymond Cruz, I think. And
I know him from Under Siege.
Oh, okay. I know him from he's Tuco in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
Gotcha.
But he's just like one of the soldiers. He's really good character too. He's so it's him and Purvis, the guy who has an alien in him. Because I guess their plan is to take him with them, get him in a cryo chamber just to stop that process, and then maybe they can, somebody down the road can save him. So it's him, and then Ron Perlman's with them, and I don't know, I don't remember how I guess Call's with them, but Ren gets the drop on him and is about to kill, I guess, Call maybe, and Purvis, this guy who's got the alien in him, you can tell he's like he's on the verge, right? Yeah. This great moment where he could feel the chest burster about to rip through him, so he grabs Ren, gets behind him, and lets the chest burster go through both of them, basically. Super
badass
cool
moment.
So then basically then it's just that crew makes it to the ship, I believe, or I guess this was probably already on the ship. And then we catch back up with Ripley, and she's in this like birthing chamber in this alien queen nest. They showed us the queen earlier. We didn't mention it, but I love an alien queen. I love the way they've always, in Aliens, she was awesome. Here, also pretty cool. But now
satellite dish on her head.
Yeah.
But I heard the dialogue, that the alien queen needed her reproductive system, and that's why she's giving birth like a human, kind of, instead of hatching eggs.
So the doctor, Brad Dourif, is this whole time he's like talking about, he's basically just exposition dumping to us, the audience, so we understand what's going on. That because of the genetic, because of everything that they did with the cloning, this alien queen now basically has human reproductive capabilities, more or less. I mean, she's got a womb, she's got a uterus. She can
still lay eggs.
She could, and now she has this uterus womb.
Okay, so she's like evolving or something.
I guess that part doesn't make a lot of sense. But yes, before this point, she had been laying all the eggs. I don't know why suddenly this queen, evolved that way, but why not just make it another queen? Make it the Ripley 7 queen laid eggs, Ripley 8 queen gives live birth,
Well, I think Ripley says something like she can feel the queen is upset or something. Like something's wrong. And I don't know if that's because she's giving birth, like
sure, maybe the trauma of doing this for the first time. I mean, maybe it's just maybe too much
well,
uncertainty.
Good call on her part. It doesn't end well for her. So.
Yeah. So she gives birth to this the newborn, the hybrid, alien.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
What did you think of the design?
I did not understand it. Like the nose nub really threw me off.
Didn't care for the
eyes.
The
eyes were good. The smoke coming out of its mouth was weird. Didn't quite understand that. And it's weird, like boobs or whatever.
I read that they purposefully
saggy
little tits.
I don't know. I don't know what was that supposed to be the new queen? Like, because
No, well, I don't
otherwise the
know.
queen's dead. This is horrible design
Sure.
again.
Maybe this was meant to be a queen. I don't know. I
Like, I thought
did
that's why it had bosoms, so it could
sure.
feed the other. I don't know.
Yeah. I
I
guess
was
the
so confused.
original puppet, build, they were
Yeah.
adamant about, it needs to have both male and female genitalia.
Mm,
I mean, clearly we see it does have breasts, so I don't
yeah.
know if they're implying that, it's got mammary glands, that it is taking that mammal side of, and maybe its young will feed, maybe that's
Yeah.
what where they would have gone. But they also, like, once they created it, I think the producers were like, no, you've got to, you know, cover up all the bits. So I guess we would have seen other genitalia, but that all got, painted away or whatever. So who knows how horrifying that would have been. But
I feel like it noses a lot, like it sniffs a lot.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
the
That was
other,
interesting when
I
it
don't know.
it's nuzzling
Yeah.
with Ripley, which is something like, animals do, they nuzzle each other. Thought that was kind of cool. I do like that its first act after being born is it looks at the alien queen, and the alien queen instantly senses, oh shit, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
It starts like crying and whining and screaming, and then this newborn just hauls off and, you know hacks away the top of its head. It's like
Yeah.
but leaves the jaw. It's real upsetting. um
Yeah. I don't know. The design of the new alien, oh, and
yeah.
the tongue I forgot about.
Oh
Uh
yeah, it does have a tongue. Yeah.
I just it didn't seem like it improved
Yeah.
upon the alien. Like
I don't love this newborn design. It's
maybe it changes if it had a chance, but
Yeah, I like the
I don't
skull
know.
face. I
Yeah.
love that it does have eyeballs. Like, I really like the expressive eyes, because you
Yeah.
can tell as soon as it sees Ripley, its eyes get real big, and you can just
Yeah.
tell it's thinking mama. But overall it feels a little, going from the sleek black
Yeah.
alien
It's like a
design
downgrade.
to this, fleshy, rubbery. It doesn't translate the same to on screen the way that the traditional alien,
Yeah.
look
Because
does.
the
It just
alien
looks
was
like a
almost like,
rubber
yeah,
monster.
it looked, yeah, it gave me Big Trouble in Little China vibes, like
Yeah.
that rubbery hairy monster that's
Okay.
in
Yeah, yeah.
that weird werewolf looking thing,
Yeah.
where you're like, okay, that's totally
Right.
fake. But yeah, it was just like it seemed like it was more vulnerable, like the
Oh
fact that it
yeah.
had eyes and
Yeah.
it didn't look as hard. Like even like the alien, like original alien teeth look metallic and
Right. Yeah. This thing
like
looks like it's
it
made
looks
of bone,
unfinished. Yeah.
but it looks soft because of they clearly make it out of rubber.
Yeah.
And again, that material doesn't translate well on screen. It just looks like rubber. It looks like soft rubber. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Yeah.
don't love the
But
design.
Ripley escapes her baby
Yeah.
and she does pull a Bond villain moment with the closing of the hatch on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
She just pushes the button and assumes it'll close, no problems.
Yeah, yeah. Why would you assume it wouldn't close all the way?
Because you're being chased by a giant alien baby.
Yeah. And they at this point they've got basically seconds or maybe minutes at this point. So they've got the hatch.
Yeah.
They realize that they need to escape the ship, but the ship won't move because a hatch is open.
And safety
So
features.
yeah. So Call goes down by herself, because again, why would we, buddy up at this
Yeah, she's
point?
a robot. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah. Um, Eventually, yeah, like Call comes, I think, face to face with this thing. Stefano, he shows up because he realizes it's been a few minutes, I think, and the the newborn, I forget how it kills him. It might just,
Doesn't it
I
shoot
don't
its
remember.
own tiny mouth or no?
No, I don't think it had a
Uh,
small mouth.
uh,
Um,
Another flaw.
yeah, yeah. Either way, it kills him. And then that's when Ripley is like, "It's been a while. That hatch is, they realize it's still open." So she finally goes down there and has the one-on-one with the newborn, and gets like, they do the nuzzling thing again, like getting real
Yeah.
close. And I don't know if she just already had the previous cut on her hand from when she escaped her chamber, if that was where she gets blood from. But she's like also touching the face of this thing, and I don't
Yeah.
know if she used its teeth to cut her hand. Either way, she gets a little blood on her and flicks it at this window in the side of the ship. It gets like a
What?
pinhole, man, this is horrifying.
You could tell it was awesome because you could tell she was upset as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, she essentially watches her baby for,
Grandbaby, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. She has a connection to this thing, as terrible as it is. Like,
Yeah, she
it does
senses it.
have a connection to it.
Yeah.
It obviously upsets her, but she knows she has to kill this thing. And it is just wailing and screaming, and it's confused because it's a newborn and it doesn't understand why its mother just, sentenced it to death. And it's just horrifying. This alien gets sucked out of a
Like the
what would
size
you
of a cue ball. Like,
yeah, yeah. I would say maybe the size of a quarter,
yeah, that's
around, maybe a little bit
so messed
bigger.
up.
Yeah, just this horror. It starts by like, it gets its back like sucked up against this hole,
Yeah.
and little by little it starts to suck the skin through this hole in this window. And yeah, just eventually like its guts start getting sucked out into space. And I mean,
Bones and yeah.
eventually the entire thing, yeah, just gets ripped through this window. The window stays intact, I think, or maybe
Yeah, it
it
does.
maybe it gives way. I don't. Okay.
It just once it's gone, the suction's
Yeah.
back and
Oh man. Yeah, this thing just gets ripped to shreds and sucked out the window.
ugh.
Um
And it's not great CG either, but how are you gonna
yeah,
replicate that anyway? So
right. Luckily a lot of it is the practical, the guts and the skin and the body, it's all getting sucked out. So like a lot of that's okay. It's effective, and it I certainly felt something, Like
I
it's
just felt
horrible.
bad for it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's terrible.
Because it almost seemed like she was like putting down like because I think it came across as like not childlike but
Oh, it's
unknowing,
yeah,
like
no, it's totally like meant to be like this is a newborn baby that doesn't understand why it's being, killed.
because it's just doing what it knows instinctually to do.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you could even see it because I did see the part where he crushes or it crushes the guy's head, Stefano.
Okay.
And then it looks at his hand and it
Oh
sees like
yeah.
the chunk of skull. Like, what's that?
Yeah. 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 That's right.
There's some like flashes of light that go on where you can really see its eyes, and it's
Yeah.
like so like wondering what's
Emotive.
going on, and like yeah, it's
Yeah.
messed up.
Yeah. So I really like that aspect of them bringing expression and emotion to an alien. We haven't had that
Yeah,
before.
and you
You
need to
know.
have the eyes for that to happen, even though
Yeah.
it makes it more vulnerable technically. But
Yeah. And then I mean the ship is imminent. Oh, I forget at what point we see the ship, the original ship that they were on, crashes
yeah,
into
it just
into
crashes in.
Earth.
Looks like a
Um,
nuke,
yeah.
but they land
Um,
on Earth too, so everything's still okay, I guess.
yeah, yeah. At one point, Ron Perlman says that Earth is like a shithole, so we have no idea like what state the Earth is in. It's been, I think, even in the original Alien, I forget what year that is meant to take place, but it's still like 150, 200 years in the future, and then this movie is 200 years past all that. Or
Yeah,
I mean, I think even Alien 3 was like 60 years later. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
all when you're dealing with like hyper sleep, and like each Ripley goes through hyper sleep or whatever between movies. So it's like I forget 60 years maybe in the previous one, but
Yeah, the big ship go big boom,
Yeah.
and they land their ship, and
Yeah.
everything's
We
so
don't
pretty.
Yeah, we don't see him land or anything. And I think the last line is Call is wondering like about Earth and like what do we do now? And Ripley says like, well, I'm new to this too, or something like that. So it's
Yeah,
implying, yeah, we've got a future, maybe, I'd be curious to see what Earth is like. You never get a good, idea
well,
of what this world is like, but.
it looks like it's uninhabited by humans, at least.
Yeah, I imagine it's very natural. Like there's probably been a lot of like nature has reclaimed a lot of, probably a lot like Last of Us. If you've seen
Oh, yeah,
you know, nature's kind of taken back over a little bit, but I don't know, who knows.
because they just show a glimpse, so you don't really get
Yeah,
to see that much.
yeah.
But it looks nice.
Yeah,
It's like they're just peeping through the window at a green
yeah.
like mass, I guess. But yeah,
I did read the wiki does specify that the ship crashed in like northern Africa. So maybe, North Africa is probably not a place you'd want to visit anytime soon because who knows what kind of nuclear explosion that was. So
well, they had some kind of reactor on there.
yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
that's Alien Resurrection. Um,
Did it need to be resurrected?
I mean, overall, I think the Alien quadrilogy uh holds up. There's I don't think this one's any worse than the third one. And we gave the third one a 3. I mean, I think enjoyed it well enough.
Yeah,
It's certainly no aliens or alien, but and I
yeah,
think the ones after this aren't as good as this,
yeah.
but
I guess I didn't really care about this world.
fair. Yeah.
Like there was no other like you have no idea who else is in this world other than the
Yeah.
people on the ship
Yeah.
because Earth looks abandoned, even though it's their home
Sure.
base.
Yeah, and we get no
I don't,
other outside influence. Like even
there's no
when
corporation. Like
right.
there's some military group, but
Yeah, but
that's just in vagaries and
yeah. And no one like Dan Hedaya doesn't talk to anyone on
nah,
on Earth or like yes, there's no clear idea of how big this world is anymore. Not specifically Earth, but how big
yeah, system or
the
whatever.
system. Yeah, yeah. Because we know people are spread throughout the galaxy at this point, but I don't
Yeah.
know to what extent is everyone just living on, freighters and, mining vessels and all that. Like, is there, I would at this point, like, I would like an alien movie in this era that deals with the aliens come to Earth, and
Yeah.
I don't want Alien versus Predator, with but I'd like to see what this kind of continuity does with an alien invasion on Earth. I actually think I would enjoy that, but who knows?
Yeah.
End of an era, I guess, with this kind of original set of alien movies.
Yep.
What would you say the most heroic moment is?
I believe there's a hero in all of us
I just finally know what I have to do.
that keeps us honest,
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
gives us strength,
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards.
makes us noble.
And I know in my heart that it's right.
It's probably the scene I talked about earlier where what's his face is crawling underwater with the guy on his back. I thought that was just
Okay.
a cool moment to show like him helping that guy out underwater. No other choice.
Yeah, because it's definitely a crew that, and I'm sure Ron Perlman's character said, "Oh, he does specifically say like, well, I think we should leave the cripple behind."
Yeah.
He's like, "No offense, man, but," and
Yeah.
it's kind of strange that they don't, given what we know about this crew, they seem like
Yeah.
the type of people that would leave a man
Well,
behind.
To be fair, that's Perlman's character, and
Mostly him, yeah,
yeah, everyone else seems like they're pretty connected.
yeah, for sure. No, that's a good moment. I wouldn't have, I didn't peg that one. Mine was For sheer like badass moment is Ripley shooting the gun through Elgin to kill an alien.
Yeah.
But most heroic is probably the dude with the chest burster who grabs Ren.
I thought that's what you were going with.
Yeah. That is a good
awesome.
moment.
Because he's like kind of there, but kind of not. Like he's like part zombie at that point.
Well, yeah, because he had taken
he's
4 slugs to the chest.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd been shot by Ren, right during that. So
yeah. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, who is the hero? Was it the alien inside,
Right.
or was it him? You heard it first. Pro
Yeah.
alien, Travis, right here. Aliens are the real heroes.
Yeah. I may not be able to tell them apart, but they're all the heroes.
Well, at least you can tell the last one apart.
Yeah. God. Most villainous.
This planet, these people, they are nothing to me.
You were made to be ruled.
The universe's power. You unstoppable power. Come to me, son of Jor-El. Kneel before Zod. And I am that force. I am that power.
In the end, you will always kneel.
Kneel before your master.
I'm gonna go diagonal on that. I'm gonna say creepiest.
Okay.
Is the good doctor pretending to like play teeth flirting with the alien.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I was just so creeped out and like knew this dude was bad.
Yeah.
And so gross.
It's sort of perverse in a way. Like it's almost like he's getting off on it. Like this communication that he has with this alien, and like
it's like he wishes he was them.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
It's just it just creeped me out, and I'm like, I don't trust this guy with anything ever.
Sure. Yeah.
At first, I was on board with him because he saved Ripley.
Right. Yes. He seems like, he's going to be a good dude, but nah,
it's just perverse knowledge
he's
that
creepy.
he's after.
Yeah. Mine, I think is pretty straightforward. It's Ren. I mean, he's already double crossed this team, but then to take Call's gun, shoot Call, instantly, and then say screw the rest of you. He goes through the door, leaves them all for dead. Like that's it's the guy's already pretty terrible, but that's pretty low. So especially like you're in a ship full of aliens. These guys all have guns, or at least most of them have weapons. Your best
Why
bet.
go alone?
Why go alone? Yeah. So
yeah, I thought that double cross was gonna come like on the ship once they got there. I didn't think it would be at that point. So I was a little surprised that he pulled the trigger so soon, literally.
Right.
So I guess overall ratings.
Yeah, rate it. Yeah, I'm interested to see where you're at.
Yeah, I'm going 2.
Okay.
Because like I just didn't feel the stakes in this.
Okay.
I mean, even Ripley said they're all gonna die anyway.
Yeah.
So I didn't think, and at this point, I know the aliens likely aren't getting away. They'll find some cockamamie way to bring them back anyway.
Sure.
Like, there's no stakes because this movie series ends itself so many times to only redo and like retcon things, and it's like a who cares kind of film. Like, okay, great. It was entertaining to watch, though. I'm like, I'll probably never watch it again. I don't care. It's not something I'll say, oh yeah, let's throw on Alien Resurrection again.
Right, yeah.
But it wasn't a bad movie. It just wasn't something I cared to like. It just didn't get me, except for like the last scene with the alien getting sucked out. That was really well done and interesting.
Yeah,
from like a relationship standpoint. But overall, like I kept forgetting when Winona's character was there. I kept forgetting Ron Perlman was there. Like it was just aliens are after us for like the last 45 minutes.
Right.
I was just trying to figure out Ripley's connection. Honestly, that was most of the movie, and if she was gonna like turn on everyone or not. So I give it that it was interesting to see how Ripley would end up, because I wasn't really sure. But in the grand scheme of things, who gives a crap? Because
you're right. Something you said earlier about we don't know what or maybe I said it. You don't know how big this world is.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, the stakes of them going to Earth. Is there anyone on Earth at this point? We don't know. So yeah, you're right. Like, we don't know what the stakes are because every alien movie, it's like it whittles down what it seems like the human civilization, is even left. Like, we don't have an idea. Yeah, I'm like, why not have an establishing shot early in the movie of like Earth, and maybe this military organization, maybe we go to their central hub and they're the ones saying like, hey, how's that queen harvest going? Or, just give us some scale of like, we see a city, we see that it's populated,
Yeah.
And
maybe
maybe
see the base or something that they're,
or maybe then we know like
to.
This ship is going to home in on that base, and we know that base is populated and has civilization around it. Yeah. Overall,
the
like,
stakes are, we don't want the aliens off the ship.
yeah,
that's pretty much the only stakes.
And that's pretty standard for every alien. We
exactly.
know we need to remove them from the ship. But
just we can't let them get outside of our range here.
That's what I want to see. We get that in Aliens, like we're on a planet in that movie, but I guess in Alien 3, I think we're also on a planet. I forget, maybe they end up on a ship, but either way, this one, I thought this movie was well made. I can't flaw the way it's shot, the way it's directed, and like everything looks good. I think all the CGI works, sounds like it works a little bit better for me. But yeah, the physical stuff I thought was mostly pretty good until you get to the end with the newborn. It's a little, I think had they just painted it a different color, I think it would have worked a little bit better.
Yeah, at first, honestly, I thought it was going to be another Ripley.
Oh,
because I saw like a skin tone kind of.
That'd be interesting.
Underneath.
Yeah.
So I thought it was going to be like a better Ripley version that's more alien-like or something.
They may have. I read something about they did some changes because they didn't want to be like the movie Species that came out, I think, this same year, because it was very much there's an alien who can also look like a human female. You know what I mean? Like it's so maybe they didn't go that route because of that. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed watching this. I would give it a 2.5. Like I like it a little bit better than a 2, but it's still middle of the road for me. Like it's not a 3. But I thought the motivations were a little vague. Like I love the way Ripley plays, or Sigourney Weaver plays Ripley in this one, because she gets to be weird, but I never knew like, what does she want? Does she want to part of me for part of the movie thought, oh, she wants to be an alien, or but then when she's running in fear, it seems counter to what she was just doing, or and then other times it seems like, well, I don't care what happens to the rest of you, you're all dead anyways. Just character motivations were a little lost, and I think the same with Winona Ryder's character as Call. I thought the first half she was just a letdown. Like I didn't care about her as an android or robot. I expect her to be more robotic, and I know that they're saving that as a reveal, but even once she just didn't. I didn't care for her portrayal as a robot.
I couldn't figure out her angle at all.
Yeah,
like, I didn't know if she like was a relative of Ripley, because she like perks up at the name.
Well, no, because she says later, like, she went through the database, probably on one of their previous visits to this facility. She got into the general's database somehow, and she got every dirty trick, every secret or whatever, and then so she knew of Ellen Ripley.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was before we knew she was an android, when she kind of perked up at it was Ripley.
Yeah.
So I thought she was like a relative or something.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting
a granddaughter, a great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was expecting a robot terrorist or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it just yeah. And
Yeah.
then the pirate crew, or I guess they were more like the Ravagers with bringing bodies to
Yeah.
bringing people to this thing, and them ending up as alien face hugging incubators.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just have no interest in watching this again.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm just like,
So that would, yeah. What did I say? I said 2.5.
2.5,
So it'd be a 2.25 overall.
So probably right. Like,
yeah.
I think it's. I try to avoid a middle answer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say 2.25 is a good spot for it.
I think so.
Because it had like zero cultural impact on me. Like,
yeah,
I completely wiped this movie from my brain.
Well, and I clearly had too. Like I said, this was damn near a first time watch for me. So
yeah,
that means it's time for. We are almost done with 1997, but we've got one more from 97, and it's a James Bond movie.
Been a while.
Yeah, been since Goldeneye, I think, in 95. So yeah, it's Tomorrow Never Dies.
Is this the one with Halle? No,
we have two. Well, this one, and then The World Is Not Enough, and then Die Another Day with Halle Berry.
Yeah, I don't remember this one at all.
Okay, this one has Michelle Yeoh, and Terry Hatcher.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
kicked it in. Got it. Yeah, the Brosnan Bonds are not my thing. So
okay, yeah.
I think it's again just I don't know. We'll get into it.
Yeah,
we'll do that episode. So maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. Who knows?
We'll see. What else? I'm trying to think if we have any housekeeping stuff to cover. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I set up an account for us on Letterboxd. So just it's just an app that you keep track of every movie you've seen, and you can rate it and everything.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, it's really just an app to track the movies you've seen, what you've rated it, all that, and then you can share. You can look at other people's lists. So we do have an account on there. It's just at Real Comic Heroes. But then you can go to that. You can see the movies we've done. You can quickly see what we've rated them if you're interested. You could see a watch list of things we have coming up. So if going to the website is like, cumbersome to look at the list and everything, you can go there a little easier probably. So
website's so late 90s.
Yeah.
But that's what we're in.
Yeah, there you go. That's why the website looks so bad. Yeah.
Like when we were in the 50s, we were sending out, carrier pigeons and
exactly
telegrams, whatever.
But yeah, just a reminder, I guess, to listeners, look ahead at what we've got coming up. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you want to record yourself a message, what you think about, we're coming up on Tomorrow Never Dies and Dark City and Batman Mr. Freeze. Like, if you have thoughts on these questions, like either email us at realcomicheroes@gmail.com. Record a message, keep it kind of brief, send it to us beforehand. We can, put it in the show. You can plug something you're working on, whatever. But just, I want more listener interaction, just, comments, questions, that kind of stuff. Just a soft reminder for any of that. But
your favorite Spaceball moments, whatever.
Yeah, send those to Patrick loves Spaceballs .biz
.org.
Yeah,
I got two.
Right. Yeah, because they tend to fill up. Those mailboxes fill up pretty quick.
And looking at the list, somebody please tell me what the hell Gen 13 is, because I don't know what that is.
Gen 13 is something that the particular guest that we're gonna have for that one asked me, like, hey, is this on your list? I'd love to come talk about it. It's Gen 13 was a comic book put out by Image Comics, I believe. I think it's Image, maybe not Image. It's just kind of it's a rad, cool, hip new X-Men team, that sort of like 90s, like,
okay.
sort of thing. But I guess I think this show that's on our list was a pilot for an animated series, I think. So it's animated, I guess.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I was just like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I've never seen it. I didn't really know it existed.
All right, so it should be awesome.
I'm sure it will be. So
it's fun to talk about.
I know, yeah. But yeah, so we've got that to look forward to. We've got a few movies between now and then, but yeah, we're finally like getting really into the late 90s. So should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to Blade.
Oh yeah. That's definitely that's definitely a highlight as far as 98 goes. Because I've never seen in 98 we've got the Avengers, not the Avengers, the Avengers. I've never seen that one. I've never seen Dark City. I've never seen Star Trek Insurrection.
Really?
So we've got some first timers for me coming up.
All right, welcome to the club.
Yeah. Is this what you feel like all the time?
Yeah, totally ignorant.
Well, on that note, stay safe out there, citizens.
Action stations.
Aye, sir. Sound the general alarm.
The Chinese pilot insists we're inside their territorial waters and he will fire.
An act of violence.
Torpedo.
It was an unprovoked attack on a ship in international waters.
The promise of war.
And instead of decisive action, all you want to do is investigate.
My goal is to prevent World War III, Admiral.
Now, the world has only one chance for peace.
When will our ships be in position? 48 hours.
And just one man for the job.
Bond. James Bond.
How much do you know about Elliot Carver, 007?
Worldwide media ban. Most newspapers, radio, satellite TV.
There's no news. Like bad news.
I understand you once had a relationship with Carver's wife.
Was it something I said?
How about the words, "I'll be right back"? I'm from the New China News Agency.
Looking for a news story?
Could have taken care of him.
Let the mayhem begin.
Your new BMW.
Will you need collision coverage?
Yes.
Property destruction?
Definitely.
Personal injury?
Accidents do happen.
Grow up, 007.
You seem to have developed a certain attachment.
I get to work with a decadent agent of a corrupt Western power.
I think you found the right decadent, corrupt Western agent as a partner.
Phase 2 is underway.
This holiday season,
What the hell is he doing?
his job, the world belongs to Bond.
When you remove Mr. Bond's heart, there should just be enough time for him to watch it stop beating.
I would have thought watching your TV shows was torture enough.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. Find the show on Facebook and Twitter at Real Comic Heroes. All music and audio are the property of their respective creators.